So I tell you the story of Lily.
Okay.
So Lily is my daughter, as you know, and she's going to school, and she wanted to come to Roy's celebration of life, but her stylistics class is just kicking her butt. So she came early,
Wow.
brought her stylistic book,
Oh, I love
sat
it.
down in the
Yes.
Katie room,
Yes.
and then they called her up when it was time to start, right? So again, she had to be true to herself, but she also wanted to be in community,
Yeah.
right? So is there a balance for that? So it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
She's definitely an example of authenticity for me.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, she just knows herself, and she great boundaries, and she knows what she wants. It's not even a question for her. She's like, this is what I'm gonna do. And ever since I've known her, and it's not that she's on a journey. So she's
Yes.
learning all the way, and she's saying, no, I'm not gonna go that way. I'm not gonna go that way. But she knows what she wants. It's phenomenal. Yeah, I learn a lot from her.
And she loves you, so.
Oh.
I would say that even in our community, Phyllis is someone who is very
Yeah.
connected to how she
Yes.
wants to be, who she wants to be. She honors her journey. You know, you talk about Lily and Phyllis, both her and Phyllis, their journey is hard won.
Yeah.
They have had some hard
Absolutely.
lessons and some hard knocks. And so, and what I love about Phyllis, even though I complain about Maryellen doing this to me, you know, Phyllis is the first one to say, you need to step back,
Oh, wow.
right? Slow down, calm down. And I appreciate that, right? That I don't, you know, I don't want everyone fawning and fiending. Well, you're the minister. No, no. Okay.
Yep.
Someone, you know, so Phyllis has
Yes.
never been disrespectful, but she'll be like, you know, Minnassa, I disagree with you on that. And let's talk about it. Right? Not just I disagree with you on it,
Yeah.
but let's talk about
Yes.
it. And so that's why I think that she is very authentic in that way. I would say, looking, because they had the big opening this weekend, you know, Michelle Obama,
Yeah.
someone who's been very authentic, who at some time had to reshape herself, right? I see everyone, I'm like, girl, who's doing those braids? Who's taking the braids out? Because that's the whole thing. It's easy to get your hair braided, but who taking those braids out? But you know, again, she's living herself, being how she wants to
Yes.
present. And again, so talking about my book, The Late Shift, that here she is in her, I don't know if they're 60 yet. I think they're, if not, they're knocking on the door. I think Barack Obama is older. I'm going to be 63. I think he's older than me, and she may be a little bit younger. But again, in your 60s, who are you? You know, they're their mom and dad, and they're this and that, but who are they when they're in their house? Who are they when they're on vacation? And so I really like that authenticness of them. You know, I think Pope Leo's working on a good authentic thing too.
Yep.
You know, he'd be like, yeah, go next. I'm like, dude.
Maybe less.
Indeed. No, that's that's true. But you know, he'd be hyping up Chicago, and I think of kind of like how Princess Diana, that you know, you can go visit the AIDS orphanage, but don't touch anyone, and she's all embracing the kids, and you know, for the Pope to say, the church played a powerful, unhealthy, and toxic role in slavery, that we were behind that and empowered that. That's an authenticity.
Yeah.
He didn't have to say that. He could be all in his little holy place, just doing whatever the Pope does, receiving visitors and people kissing his rings, and you know, no, but he is really out here doing the work. And so when he doesn't have to, right? When he was a parish priest, yeah, he had to be doing all that stuff, but now he could just be living it up. I don't know how priests live it up, but you know, just saying, right? Yeah, but he's still, right? All the wine and wafers you could possibly want. You know, living his best life, just chilling out and doing nothing. Just, okay, Pope, we need you to sign this, or come and speak at this event. But he's talking about, we need to admit where we were wrong. Everybody matters, you know, beefing it with the President of the United States. Right, saying that this is the gospel, that you guys want to talk about this gospel of exclusion, right? And no, you know, you only matter if you follow our little list of rules. You say, no, well, I look at this book in a different way. Let me bring you something different. And so I appreciate that about him too. You know, and I say your dad.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, I saw him at the celebration of life, and I said, I don't know if I'm going to fuss at you or just be happy to see you. All right, because I got some stuff to fuss at him about. He said, I'm breathing. I said, okay, I'm going to be glad to see you. But also just living a very authentic way. He keeps trying to get me out there in the woods with him. I think I'm going to go.
Awesome.
This is like, Yeah, but yeah, so I got my little sticks now, so
Nice,
I'm
yeah.
ready to go. But people who are just connected and who are willing to be who they are and then work in relationship, but let their, I think for me, someone who's authentic is their actions speak louder than their words. So if you tell me you're going to do something and then you don't do it,
Yeah.
you know, now if you fell down, you're in the hospital, I get it. But if it's not something like that, and again, authentic. And so can we look at Master Teacher Jesus not as someone so holy that I can't
Yes.
attain to, but someone who wanted to be in the mix.
Yeah.
He wanted to hang out with the people that no one else loved. He wanted to be a person that said, I see all these rules, but I have this gift of life in me. I have this gift of love in me. So on the Sabbath, dude, can you reach out your withered hand? You're healed. You on the day that we're not supposed to do anything, but why would the divine not do good every day? So yeah, you who've been paralyzed and laying here waiting for these folks to help you, just get on up. Right? That's that authenticity. And so I shared on Sunday that the day that my sweet Gail passed away, you know, Lily and Kathy were like, "You're going to eat today," because I just had a knot in my stomach those days before. And when the owner said, "Well, I hope the rest of your day is good," you know, and I could have said, "Yeah, thank you," but I was like, "No, the rest of my day is not going to be good." And he just embraced me again,
story.
right?
Yeah.
Again, this man doesn't know me. He just owns that restaurant. Right? To be able to say, no, this, Right? So again, that concept that's the authenticity, not always being like, yeah. Right? That's why people are drinking in secret and drugging in secret and overeating in secret and sleeping around in secret. Not that all those things are bad, but it's because you're using those things to medicate yourself because you won't let your real self out. If you just let your real self out, then you can do those things in moderation and enjoy them.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know about you, Maryellen, because I'm sure that you're perfect. But, you know, we've all had those times where we drank too much. And then your body said, it's going to come out right now.
Yeah.
Right? So if you could enjoy the drink without that whole thing, say, okay, you know, I feel sad. You know, in a world where everyone has to be perfect based on something, you know, not every day is good. But there's something good in every day. So how you doing? I think I think it was Luke who said, you know, say, well, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not doing well today. Okay, good. I thank you for letting me know. Is there a way that I can be of support? No, I'm just feeling some kind of way. Well, let me hug you, and you got my number, right? Versus, wow, let's just be all unity, and why don't you say a positive affirmation that right now everything in my life is right, and I feel okay. If they're not feeling that way, I'm not saying the affirmations and the denials don't have a place, but how about let people be in a mood?
Yeah. Have what you're gonna have.
Yes.
Because he said, "I'm not okay, but I will be." Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That statement. That's right. That statement keeps you from, you know, guzzling Jack Daniels or doing whatever.
Yep.
But you know, we all gotta.
This makes me think too about your talk about labels and Jesus as a label breaker, which I was so grateful for. We could just talk about that forever. Because we slap labels on everything, everyone else, and on ourselves. And we're just label. But if we broke through those, you know, even just, okay, like, nope, I'm not going to, you know, asking the question, is it true? We'd be in a very different place right now.
Yes. Is it true and is it helpful?
Yeah.
Right. That even people who commit crimes, well, are they criminals? Or are they someone that made a bunch of bad choices and now they're getting the consequences of that? But can they change? Can they change? You know, so yes, labels help people who are wanting to control, to define you in a way that makes them feel safe and empowered.